So I'm going to hand this over to Cater and Ray. And so, again, full of questions. About halfway through this thing, we'll stop and get some Q&A going. And this is a session I've been looking forward to all year long. So take it away, David.
Thanks, sir. Okay, what we're going to do for you guys is give you an idea of what we do on TeamSpeak. Okay? To watch Ray, Tyler, Jared Crawford drive these cars it's an amazing thing to do. It really is. And there's no way in the world I would ever will a car the way he can do it. But what I can do is listen to him tell me what the car is doing and then make adjustments to help him get better at even more comfortable at what he's doing. So what we're going to do here is Ray's going to take off with the fixed setup. The only changes we've made, that, like I told you earlier, is that I had him bring the left side pressures up a couple of pounds and change the left side camber just to get the ride heights a little bit closer to what they should be to start off with. That's the only changes we've made to the fixed setup. I'm going to send him out to run me 3 or 4 laps to where he can get a good gauge on the way the car feels. And what this is hopefully going to accomplish is to have you hear him say, okay, this is how the car feels. This is what I need it to do. And then hear me say, okay, this is the adjustment we need to make to fix that. So if you can start in your head when you're sitting at home when you get from here and say, okay, Ray said it felt loose here. This is what Cater done to make it better. Then maybe we can start putting this together to where some of this is not so overwhelming and it makes a little bit more sense to you. So Ray, anytime you're ready, man, go run me 3 or 4 laps.
Sure.
All right, the only thing I really want him to do right now is give me good 3 or 4 solid laps. I don't care how fast he's going. I don't care what his speed is. The only thing I care about is he's good and consistent, which, I mean, he's going to be anyway. I mean, he's Ray Alfalla. That's the way he's going to run. But all I want him to do is give me 3 or 4 laps and then let me know what he needs that car to do better than it's doing at any point on the racetrack. So as he's doing this, I'll give him just a lap or so to kind of get the car under him. Okay, I see I need to fix that. All right, now if I was sitting on the pit box and was watching him come through the tri-oval right now after about 1 or 2 laps, right now is when I'd be keying my radio up going, okay, tell me what it's doing to you at the start of this run.
Car's good. We're going to win the race.
Well, well, it's a good thing that Chad just told me there's a pizza and beer place right behind the pit box because I'm going to eat now.
It's a little loose into one and then tight in the center.
Okay.
Probably needs a lot more left side tire pressure.
All right, so you're loose into one.
Yeah, it's just missing side bite. 3 and 4 feels pretty good. A little loose, or a little, just slides all 4 tires, it seems, off 4.
All right, park it. Okay, what he's feeling now is it's a little loose on entry. It's a little tight in the center, and that's probably coming from his loose on entry. When it's tight in the center after being loose like that, he's having to correct the thing going into the corner. So while he's correcting, by the time he gets it corrected, he's already in the center of the corner. There's where the tight's coming from. So the first thing I'm going to fix is that loose on entry. Okay, is hopefully that will fix that center tightness. Once I get that loose on entry and he can keep that car turning left, that should help his tight in the center. So the first thing I want you to do, Ray, is I want you to give me a little bit. All right, I'm going to start with tire pressures. Bring those left side tire pressures up to a 40 because I want to stable this car out some. We got way too much split here. Bring them up to a 40. All right, go to the chassis. Now we see we've got the ride heights. that are messed up now because I've brought those tire pressures up. I'm looking at 57 and 65, okay? So the one thing I want to do is to help that center. Let me see what your cambers are here. Your left front camber, take it down to a 6.6. Hit apply. Let me see what we did here. 6.6, 6.5. Take it down to a 6.5. All right. 6.5, 6.5 across the front. Okay, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to come down one click on that left front spring perch offset. Go down, other side. Right there. Okay, what I've done is I've taken his ride heights down just a little bit. I brought him a little closer to the track. I've took a little bit of his preload out, which is going to free the car up a little bit as far as the travel amount it has from entry to center of the corner. So I've given him a little bit more travel. I brought his ride height a little bit closer, and I brought his left side tire pressures up to try to get that split out to stable the car up through the center. All right, give me 3 or 4 laps.
All right.
Now you notice a lot of people will run a lot of tire split. A lot of people will run 10, 15 pounds worth of air pressure split. You're really overdoing yourself right there. Man, if you can stay between 5 and 10 pounds with your air pressures, it really stables that car up, and then use some spring or some other adjustments mechanically other than air pressure. All right. See how 3 and 4 is. And yes, this is the A car at Texas. See, I've not done anything to bump stops because once I start wanting to find speed, once we get a little bit of this handling issue done, I'm going to want to find him speed. That I'll take care of with bump stops, getting that splitter on the ground. But the first thing I want to do is get him handling. I want to get him comfortable in the race car so that I know the speed he's getting is all he's going to get because of where the setup is. So then I can start making the setup give him speed. How's it feel?
It's a little tight, center off 3 and 4.
Okay.
1 and 2 is an improvement.
Okay, so what we made 1 and 2 better?
A little lazy in this. It's like lazy in the center of the corner. Doesn't really want to turn.
Okay. And we've made it tight in 3 and 4 now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that laziness is coming from that travel. Okay, bring it in. All right, I'd about bet you that laziness is coming from that travel. So now what that tells me is, what he's saying is when the car, well, you explain it to him, Ray. What do you mean by lazy through the center of 1 and 2?
Hold on. It basically wants to slide the front tires and doesn't do what I wanted to do, which is basically just grip more, keep turning left. It kind of just wants to keep going, not really very obedient.
Okay. All right, so what's probably happened is now when he had that 112 preload, bring that setup, that garage back up. When he had that 112 preload, I give him a little bit of travel in that front end to try to help him. We made 1 and 2 better, but by doing that, that travel now has got that front end not wanting to stick. Okay, so now I've got to bring his travel back. Now, one question, Ray, did you hear the splitter hitting at all? Was the splitter on the ground?
Not much.
Okay. Take what I'm going to do now is give him his preload back. I'm going to stiffen the car up with that preload. Come to your right front spring perch offset and go down. Right side. Go down 1 click. Now we're setting at 558 across the front, and he's back to a 111. So now I've brought his front splitter back down a little closer to the ground. I've given him his preload back, so now he's got a little bit more of a solid feeling He should have a little more of a solid feeling through the center of 1 and 2. And you said, what was it in 3 and 4?
Just lazy in the center and off.
Okay, so
Kinda tight.
you're a little tight off of 4, right?
And the center mostly, and it's affecting my exit.
Okay. Go down. Let me see the rear end of the car. Bring it down. Okay, so you are tight off. All right. Take your right rear camber to a 2.7. All right. Go take that one now.
All right.
2.3. What I went was from a 2.7 to a 2.3 on the rear camber. Basically what I've done is I've given him a little more rear steer without making a drastic spring or track bar change, because that's going to change the feel of the car pretty drastic amount. I've given him a little more right rear camber to help that rear steer come around 4 at a little more of a minor change. So I tell you, this is actually, this is pretty fun. I've done this for Blake Cook last year before everybody got here, the Wednesday that me and Blake Cook got here. For those of you that may not know, Blake Cook is a full-time Nationwide driver. And I was able to do the exact same thing I'm doing with Ray, with Blake Cook, with the Nationwide car at Texas. And after about a half an hour of working with Blake, he was saying, how can I get you to come to Texas? If I can get my real car drive like this, I'm a winner. So the stuff that we're doing, it translates, it's close. What iRacing has done is really close. He said the only thing that he really did not have that he has in his rear car is that sense of speed. The thing's going by you so fast. He said other than that, it's really close to what he feels in the real car. All right, talk to me, Ray.
I'd like for it to turn more on throttle.
Okay, did we get rid of the laziness? Is it responding to you better?
It's a little better.
Okay.
Still there.
Okay. So you want it to have more rotation, or you need it to be a little bit less grip to make it looser?
More rotation.
Okay. Run me a little bit more here.
Oh,
All
we
right.
picked up time though.
That's fine.
68 there.
Okay. So it's feeling better. You're just needing rotation off, correct?
Rotation everywhere.
Rotation everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring the garage up for me.
I can deal with the loose into turn 1.
Right.
Yeah.
See, and this is all about making him feel better. I don't want him to change how he drives the car at all, is what I was telling a couple of you guys earlier. Don't change how you drive the car. Go in with an attitude of driving the car like you're comfortable driving the car, because it's a whole lot easier to change mechanically than to change you. So drive the car the way you love to drive the car. If you love driving that thing deep in, go for it. But then you're going to have to set it up to respond to deep in. If you like lifting real early and getting on it real soon, then you're going to have to change your setup some. So change the setup, not how you drive. Now, to a point, if you're just not wanting to lift off the throttle, especially in this A car, I don't care what you do to set up, it ain't going to help you. So you've got to have there's a leeway here. If you want to go flat out like you are in the truck, you just out of luck. But what I'm wanting to do, I don't care what he's doing driving the car. I'm not asking him, okay, how are you doing the throttle? I don't care. What he does with the throttle is what he's comfortable doing. All I want to do is want to know how it feels to him so I can make the mechanical changes. Okay, so now the car felt a little more stable to you, but it wasn't rotating enough for you, correct?
Right.
Okay. Go to your tires a minute. There's one reason right there. Do you see, before I even say anything, do y'all see one of the reasons why he ain't rotating center off? No, there you go. Left front camber. Look at the temps on the left front camber. The thing's rolling over on the inside of that left front tire. So that left front tire is not helping him turn at all. Okay? So go back into your chassis, Ray, and with that kind of a difference, let's see where we're at. Go to let's see, I tell you what I want you to do. go to take me to a 7.2. Hit apply. Let me see what it does to the ride heights. All right, now go up to your preload. See where your preload's a 91 now? Take your preload back to into the hundreds again. There you go. 64, 61. All right, I tell you what I want you to do. Take that left front camber back down to about a 6.9 and hit it. So now we're at 61, 61 across. So now let's see if how much of a change. Actually, his camber went to a 7.0, but it got my ride heights where I want it, and it got my preload back to where I want it. Now, do y'all see how we made those changes? It got the ride heights back by changing that camber, and then just go ahead and changing the preload. You click the preload back to where it was, and it brings your ride heights back even with the new camber. You see what I'm saying? All right, just with that right there, Ray, go run me 3 or 4 laps. All right, what that ought to do right there now is help him in the center off, because now he's using, we hadn't even done anything hardly to the rear end at all. So we're wanting to help rotation by having that left front tied down, which is exactly what we're doing. We're tying that left front down now with camber. We're having that tire, instead of that tire going in and rolling over on the inside, it's going in and staying to the left and rolling over like this instead of rolling over like this. So that left front tire is going to help him turn. It looks a little more stable coming off too. All right, now, if y'all will remember when he first started this, the car was kind of up in the center. When it was coming off of this corner, it wasn't really stable at all. There was some, if you'll remember, the first thing I said is, oh, Lord, I got to fix that. Now he's sitting right there on that white line. A little bit right there needs to be redone. All right, talk to me, Ray. What are you feeling?
I feel like the balance is pretty good, but it needs more grip overall.
Okay, needs
I think
more rear grip?
No, I just think all the tire pressures need to go up.
Okay. All right. That's what you're feeling. Take me to my tire thing and let's put the correct tire pressures in it. All right, let's see. Take me to 45 on the left.
All right.
All right, take me to 55 on the right. I'm going to give you a 10-pound split that should help you with rotation off. All right, now let me see your chassis. 66, 60, was that 65?
Yeah.
All right, your right front, tell you what I want you to do. Your right front camber, take it down to a 2.3 from a 2.4. Hit apply. Take it down to a 2.3, that right front camber. There you go. All right, we're sitting at 66 across the front. Now I want to get that preload back to where it was. Your left front spring perch offset, take it down 1 click to the right there.
Yeah.
Right side, yep, down 1 click. 63, we're back at 112 on the preload, and we're sitting on 63s across the front. Now, I still think we're probably a little too high. I think we can get that splitter on the ground, but we'll work on that when we get to the bump stops. Okay, we'll get that splitter on the ground here in just a second. I just want to get him good and solid. Then I'll find him speed. All right, now go try that right there. And the reason why I'm not changing those bump stops right now, well, I mean, if it was just me and Ray sitting in TeamSpeak, we'd have already done it, just because both of us know exactly, you know, it'd just been natural to do. But I hadn't changed it yet, just for the simple fact that I want to let y'all see the progression going through, making what he's telling me the car's doing as to the changes I'm making. So you'll notice I'm working mainly on the front end of the car, trying to get the front end to help it turn. because that's going to also get my cambers right. It'll help it run overall through the fuel run. And that front end has a lot to do with how stable the car is. All right, and there is one thing that I will show you on the telemetry now that we've got the telemetry up. There was a way Simon was going to put that telemetry on the big screen. I don't remember how he said he was going to do it. But I'm going to show you on the telemetry what y'all can, from what y'all can see, what we're going to need to do to the car just without him even telling me, just by looking at the telemetry. All right, how's it feeling, Ray?
Feels very good right now. Maybe a little tight.
Where?
Oh, everything.
Okay, you're tight entry through. You're all the way tight everywhere, correct?
It's okay on exit, but I would like for it to turn the center a little better.
Okay.
Rotate more in the rear.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's, and I can see that too because let me step up here for just a second. For those of y'all, don't try to exactly tell what these lines are doing, but if you can see, this purple line right here is the center of your front splitter. These lines right here, the red and the green, what that is you're right behind your front tire on your left side rail and right side rail. That red one is your left side rail. That green one is your right side rail, right behind the front tires. Okay? That's where the side bite is. All right, these two and these two lines right here. What we need to try to get, what we want to accomplish, do you see how these lines are just simultaneous right here? That's down the straightaway. But when he goes into the corners, you can see turn 3, see where the car lifts up? That left front's not tied down enough. We need to get that red line right there, that left front, we need to get it to where it's coming to where it's almost on top of that green line as much as we can possibly get. Right now, when he's going into the corners, what that car is doing is leaning right. It's picking up that left front. That's where a lot of that tightness he's feeling is coming from. Now, the rear side is the same way. You can see where the left side's picking up, the right side's squatting down. When this is tied down, that right there will come down right with it. Okay? Now, we're not starting off too bad, but you can tell we're basically right here. Don't worry about where it's doing all of this. Basically where it starts, in between a ½ an inch and an inch, about 3/4, a little more than 3/4 of an inch. That's how high it is above the racetrack, right there. What I would like to do is get this to start in the ½ inch range to a little lower because of those bumps right there. You see these jagged lines is where it's hitting those bumps. I need to get the bottom of these peaks to get right here on top of the racetrack. Okay, so that'll come from dropping that nose down. All right, bring that garage up for me, Ray. So what we need to do now is start to tie that front end down. All right, to do that, what I want to do is start pulling those bump stops. Instead of moving any of the ride heights, I'm going to leave the ride heights where they are. Golly. Let's see what I want to do here. I tell you what, Ray, I want you to take that right front spring down to a 375. I'm going to match those right front springs. Now, hit apply and then put your right front ride height back to that 63 where it was, or close to it. Right, the right front one. There you go. Take it back up. Take it back up to a 63.
Well, you don't want me to do both?
No. Because you only drop one spring, so there's only one ride height you need to worry about.
Okay.
So take it up to about in the 60s. They're right there,
It's
right
at
there.
60 right now.
Yep, leave it right there. Now, we've got a little more negative preload, but that's okay. I'm going to deal with that for right now. Leave it right there. What I want you to do now is take both of those front bump stops and put them at a 3. Okay, what I've done is I've closed up the gap on that right front spring. It's not going to travel as far. Okay, now both the front ends are going to travel the same amount. They're both going to travel onto the top of the same amount of bump stop. Set that left front packer down to a 0. across. Okay, what I'm doing now is not where I want to be. I know that in my head. I know, okay, this ain't where I want to be. But what I want to do is get him out there, and I want to see that telemetry, what it does when everything's reacting the same as far as travel and bump stops. All right, give me about 3 or 4 laps there,
All right.
Ray, and then we'll let Sign do the stopping here.
And what we'll do is, once he gets done, we'll just pull it up on the bottom screen so
Okay.
they can see it.
Okay,
And so we can pull it up there too.
okay, well, I'll let you do that. You're the genius around here. Even you don't have any idea how cute you are.
You know what? Your breath stinks. When I get this too close to you, it really starts to affect me. You really should have me driving, actually.
I know we needed a better driver, but he was in a rush. I mean, he'll do in a rush.
Yeah. So if you need somebody to hot lap, just let me know.
I got you. Yeah, I know where you at, man. I mean, his resume's a little bit on the low side. I understand that, but it gives him some practice. Talk to me, Ray. How's it feel?
That feels a lot better. Just more grip overall. It's balanced. I could afford to rotate more.
Okay, so you're not needing it to be looser. You're just needing it to give you a little more turn, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I needed to.
So it's close.
It's close for sure. Yeah. It's just that I usually drive more loose.
Okay, okay. Well, that's not a problem at all to fix. So if you want that thing looser, you want it to be a lot more free, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's leave it exactly where it's at. Go ahead and just save that. So because that's where the car is feeling good to. Save it any way you want to. I don't care. Yeah, because these people are going to want you to email it to them anyway.
It's on my computer. That's part of the advantage of having my computer up there.
Actually, what we're going to do is when we get done with this, the race that we have in the A car in Texas, there's your fixed setup.
Okay.
So every one of y'all will be able to get this set up, okay? All right, now.
Another thing we're going to do too, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I think when is it? There's another session, Race with the Pros. When does that happen? Race.
The racecraft one?
Yeah, no, let's see.
Tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
When is racecraft again?
Racecraft. Yeah, hands-on help with the pros tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, what we're going to do is we're going to hand this set out again. If we work on it some more, then you're going to load the setup actually on your sims out there. These guys, along with some other guys that know what they're doing, are going to walk around and walk you through driving the car, get your line and all that kind of stuff. So with you actually on your rig, is that cool? All right.
Okay, before we go any more, do you want to do this? Anybody got any questions while he's doing this? Before we get started, is anybody caught up to me? Do you need to know anything from here? I left it that way because I got everything else exactly the way I wanted it.
I'll tell or
Okay, so instead of going through all the trouble of messing with everything just to get one preload number a little bit different, I left the preload alone, all right? Because my main goal was to go out and see what those springs and bump stops done to the car. What the preload done, I didn't care about right now, okay? So I automatically, since I had a 111, 112 preload, all right? And now I'm sitting in the 130, I automatically know the car's gonna be a little stiffer. All right, I automatically know it's going to be drawn down some. So the car's going to ride a little bit more of a rigid front end. So when he told me it felt more stable, that let me go, okay, well, good. Maybe we need that preload jumped up a little bit there because it gave him more of a steady feel in his hands. So that's the reason, but the main reason I just didn't adjust that preload is because there was so many other things that I just got done that I wanted. Messing with that preload would have just took another 10 minutes trying to get it all fixed, just to bring that preload down. So just when you're doing that, you can leave that preload out and go see what it feels like. Then if it really feels too tight with a higher preload, or if it feels like it's hitting the bottom too much, then you know, okay, now I need to bring my preload back down because I was good to start with.
We didn't turn it to telemetry.
It's all on the forums. Everything's free, too. It doesn't cost you a penny, man. It's called Motec, the iPro 2, version 2, V2. And it's all on the forums. If you go to the telemetry part of the forum, there's a sticky post in there that'll have where you can get all the software you need as far as the Motec. There's a program that you're going to need from iRacing, which is there too. It's called MU. And it's just a minor program that needs to be running in the background. So it converts what iRacing sends out so Motec can read. So it's the middleman between what iRacing gives and what Motec reads. So it converts it into what Motec can read. MU. It's just called MU. You'll see it when you read the forums and go through that sticky form. The very first part of it, it says, here's the link to go get Motec. Here's the one you got to get. Here's the MU that reads the program into Motec from iRacing. And then you'll need a workbook. The one that I like two, is it's called the medium, it's the Impala B, MED Oval B, it's the Oval B one. It's listed like that, something like that, Impala B Medium Oval. And the Project 3, I think it's Project MED 3. There's two workbooks, and both of those are I use the A car and the B car in the B Oval for the B car, the one that's made for the B car, because it gives you the same things. Because as far as the bump stops and stuff are concerned, the telemetry that iRacing gives you is not different enough to justify making a workbook for it. So what the B car workbook will give you is exactly what you need to know. That's exactly what he's using right there. And it'll have tabs across the top there. If you'll see where those black stripes are, it's telling you where the corners are. Right above it are tabs that'll tell you ride heights, how much yaw the car's got, how much pitch it's got, the overall cambers, how much the weight transfers, which is the marbles, which we'll show you here shortly. That one right there is probably the one I'm on 90% of the time, and that's the ride height. That bottom line tells you how much difference you've got in ride height between center and front and left, or between left and right. And then, as I told you a while ago, the bottom purple one is the center one, and then your right and left front and right and left rear. That one right there, when you can get those lines to match up everywhere around the racetrack, the thing is sitting down. That's what you're after.